de contexto, es un crimen de guerra y un crimen de la humanidad. En la reunión tendremos el honor de contar con la presencia de 3 ponentes que el 7 de octubre los hicieron ser parte importante de este doloroso y difícil tema. La reunión durará aproximadamente 1 hora y cuarto para que podamos llevarla a cabo de manera respetable. Le agradeceríamos que se asegurara de tener cámaras abiertas en un lugar que le permitiera dedicar la atención adecuada a los temas sensibles. Todos los participantes de Zoom estarán en modo silencio.
לא משנה, רואים אותי.
Sí, אני מבקשת שככה אני אומרת את זה עכשיו בדיוק בספרדית, לשים על השטק. Todos los participantes del Zoom estarán en modo silencio durante la reunión. Si tienen preguntas para los oradores, escriben sus preguntas por favor en el chat. Al final del discurso de cada orador, les haremos 3 preguntas de las que se escribieron en el chat. Para dar una palabra de apertura, invito a Orly Furman, reemplazante del presidente de Maccabi Mundial y ex miembro de la Knesset. Orly, בבקשה.
Thank you, Shirit. Dear friends, shalom to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us, women from around the world. On October 7, at 6:30 in the morning, Israel faced the worst event of its history. Terrorists from the Hamas organization invaded our homes in the southwest part of Israel, the kibbutz and the cities surrounding Gaza, and murdered, massacred, raped, and abused innocent citizens, babies, children, women and men, young and old, with no mercy. Youngsters who participated at a peace festival nearby found themselves at the party of death, brutally abused and murdered by the monsters of Hamas. On October 7, Hamas kidnapped to Gaza 253 people, mostly civilians from their homes. 134 of them are still there in Gaza, suffering every day, every moment. Maccabi World Union is the largest Jewish Zionist and sports movement in the world, advocating the connection between body and mind since its inception. As the well-known saying goes, a healthy mind in a healthy body. Maccabi is a movement that was founded out of the understanding that minority must act together to confront hate and anti-Semitism. Even today, we see a direct link between the movement's values and goals to the need to act on this issue and unite all forces of our worldwide communities. The women of the movement in Israel established the Women's Forum, which seeks to raise awareness among all members of Maccabi World Union and the Israelis who live abroad. Our goal is to echo the terrible crime that happened here, violating the international law on crimes of gender violence in war. This is crime against humanity. And we know it happened. Since October 7, more and more testimonies have been collected and heard, describing the horrible sexual terrorism against women, girls, and men. Many of them were murdered by the terrorists, and their voices can no longer be heard. We wish to shout out loud so the entire world will hear the voice of the murdered and the kidnapped. The cry of the victims of this terrible crime should last until the whole world condemns the war crimes. 134. A baby, a child, women, youngsters, soldiers, and elderly people are still there. I'm sure you all heard that we celebrated Kfir Biba's first birthday. Out of his 12 months, he spent 4 months in Gaza. Think about you as a mother who has a 20-year-old daughter, closed in cage in tunnel 20 meters below ground, and these animals are abusing them physically and mentally for more than 140 days. We have to get everyone home alive now. And we shout, bring them home now. I pray every day, we pray for better days, better life. Thank you.
Thank you, Orly. Gracias, Orly. Es un honor para mí invitarla a la primera oradora Mirit Ben Mayor. Mirit es abogada y en su cargo actual desempeña como jefa de la División de Comunicación de la Policía de Israel. Mirit trabajó como fiscal penal en el país durante 15 años. Tiene una maestría en Derecho Internacional y Público de la Universidad Northwestern de Chicago y la Universidad de Tel Aviv. מירית, בבקשה. מירית, את איתנו?
כן, היי. כמה זמן יש לי רק?
15 דקות.
Okay, so good evening. Here it's evening. And when I say good evening, it's not really a good one, because we haven't had not a good evening and not a good morning since the 7th of October, and I'm sure that also you, our friends, are feeling the same, because our pain is mutual. It's a very big pain. It's something that we really cannot describe, the atrocities that happened for us, for our people, for innocent people, families, children, men, women, on the 7th of October. And because I have 15 minutes only, I will tell you that I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a lawyer for many years. I was specifying in criminal law. And as for now, I am escorting also the investigation and also doing a lot of hasbara in the world and in Israel. So everyone will know exactly what happened here on the 7th of October. I can tell you that the Israel police, which I'm very proud to be a part of it, has taken charge of the chaos that happened in that morning of the 7th of October. A lot of police officers came out of their houses, got into their cars just to get there to the south and to try and do anything we can do in order to get the terrorists, to stop them from going up north, because their plan was to continue and not to stop only in the south area. The police officers were fighting with anything they had, with their guns, with their knives, whatever they had, in order to stop this terror attack. But the terrorists came in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and they came very well prepared in a very, very planned way. They came into 20 different sites. They were practicing, and we know that now throughout the investigation, they were practicing this attack for many years. They waited for the right time for them, and they came in and received clear directions to murder as many people, to kidnap as many, to burn houses, to humiliate people with sexual violence and with violence, brutal violence. Doesn't matter if it was a woman, a man, children, youngsters, Jews, non-Jews. For them, anything, anyone who they met on their way or in the houses was the enemy for them, and they came to destroy the bodies, the houses, and the souls of all those people that they knew exactly who they will meet, in which houses, who is going to be where, who has guns, who doesn't have guns. It was, as I said, a very well-planned attack. So the Israel police, I said, fought there and lost 58 of our friends during these fightings. And we had to recover very, very quickly, because somebody had to do to understand what was going on here. Someone had to open up an identification center, and this is what we did in order to have a place to bring all the bodies. Over 1,200 people arrived, bodies were murdered and arrived to Shura, where the identification was taking place. And I can tell you that starting from there, our investigation started. We are in charge of the national investigation of this brutal massacre, and we see from our investigation that the crimes that were taken were crimes against humanity. Our most professional investigators are set on the mission. They are, the unit is called Lahav 433. It's actually the Israel FBI, Israel Police FBI. And what they've been doing since the 7th of October is to collect all the evidence in order to bring these terrorists to court and to indict them and to get justice for our people, and especially for the victims and for their families that have lost their dear ones in the most brutal way that no one can even imagine that could have happened. What we collect from our evidence, what we see is we see clear evidence for rape and for sexual violence. We have survivors and first responders, that one of them you will hear soon, who saw naked and injured bodies, ripped clothes and underwear, They saw corpses of women with their pants down, rolled down to her knees. We have eyewitnesses who saw rape. We have other witnesses who saw bodies cut to different parts, genitals cut, genitals shot at, burnt. We have police officers who identified the bodies, as I told you before, and they saw with their own eyes the terrible situation of the bodies, if you can call it body, because most of them came in unbelievable condition. They came in either cut or burned, or we had a very important mission to identify the people as quickly as possible, because for us the Jews, we have to we want to bring our dear ones to burial as quickly as possible, to give them their last respect. But it was very difficult to identify because of the body situation, and also to bring them to burial as quickly as possible. I must tell you that what we collect from the evidence, and it's not only from the testimonies that we take, it's also from the investigations of the terrorists themselves. It's also from the 200,000 and even more videos that we see. Some of the videos that we see are from the cameras in the sites themselves. Some of them is from the terrorists themselves who filmed themselves doing the atrocities and live viewed what they were doing back home. Very proud of what they did. By the way, in their investigations, we do not see any regret. Not only that we do not see any regret, they believe that this is what they had to do in order to go to do what they're expected to do for their people. They actually believe that. They do not regret, and they even tell us that they got clear instructions not only to do all the terrible things that I told you, but also to dirty the women. And when one of them was asked, "What do you mean dirty?" he said, "To rape." So nothing was unplanned. I can tell you, I will read from from some of the testimonies what people said to us. We have a police officer who testified, "I couldn't drive because there was a baby cradle full of blood on the road, a baby that was outside his cradle, and a naked woman lying next to the baby body. She was naked, badly injured, bullets in her body." We have a rescuer who came to one of the kibbutz and said, "Inside the shower, there was a body of a cuffed woman. She was without any underwear. The body was in the corner and her hands were tied." We have a testimony from the rave party, the big festival, very happy festival that took place there, in which over 350 youngsters who just came to enjoy and to dance were murdered. So one of the survivors said that she saw one of the terrorists raping a woman right next to her. They didn't see that eyewitness. She was hiding in a place in one of the bushes, and she was very lucky that none of the terrorists saw her. But what she saw is a terrorist raping a young girl, a naked one, and then bringing her over to another terrorist who also raped her. And while he was raping her, he shot he shot her in her head. And only after that, he came out. And this very brave girl who saw this and told us, she also took the investigators to the same place a few weeks afterwards. And it's a huge, huge place, the festival that took place in. She went back exactly to the same place that she was hiding at. And while she was hiding there again for the investigators, she gave them directions and told them exactly where the rape was. And guess what? They found clothes in the same spot. So we have a piling of evidence accumulating. We're still in this ongoing investigation. It's a very difficult one, also for our most professional investigators, because they have never seen such atrocities, and they had never had to deal with people who survived and saw their families slaughtered and murdered in front of them. We need help. We need your help to tell everyone, your neighbors, your friends, your friends from work, to tell anyone you can exactly what I was telling you now. It was short, but I think you had a glimpse of what we see through the investigation. We owe this, the going on and going back and back and back and telling these stories. We owe this to the victims. We owe this to their families. And we owe this to the 134 people who are still there at the Hamas brutal terrorists, as they're keeping them there. And we really pray for them to get back and to come back to us alive. So please do anything you can in order to help us do that. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I really wish all of us the best, and that we will get good news as soon as possible. Thank you.
מירית, סליחה, הייתי על מיוט. מירית, we have a question. Can you explain a little bit from a point of view of a lawyer, what is the complexity that we're facing dealing with the sexual terrorism, and why is we need so much the voice of our people around the world to echo it against the silence that we hear.
Okay, so a regular criminal case we're investigating regarding sexual atrocities, sexual violence, is usually one that the victim will come tell us what happened to her or to him. Sometimes it will be next, quite near the occurrence of the sexual violence, of the rape or any other sexual violence. If that victim will come quickly, then we can also get some forensics from the victim's body. And then usually we would just need to investigate the person who attacked, the attacker, and bring this to indictment and to court. Sometimes when the victim will take her or his time to come and file a testimony in the police because of personal reasons, since it's very, very difficult to talk about such an event, then we will only have the testimony. We will probably not have forensics because time has passed by. And we will investigate the attacker and continue with to court. Here, most of the victims, as far as we know, even pretty sure all of them, but we still have a belief that they're ones that are alive. Most of them are dead. They were murdered after they were raped or sexually violated. We have so many people who were murdered, so there are hardly any eyewitnesses, or even if there are, they're in such a bad condition that not all of them are able to even come and speak up. Also, the situation of the bodies, as I said, and I just want to remind that this whole terror attack was under a missile attack also. So it was a war zone. So while we collected the bodies, they were in such bad conditions, and there were so many of them that even if we wanted to take forensics, it was impossible. And also, it was impossible also because of the body situations and because there were so many of them. And by the time we received the trucks with all the bodies and started to do the identification, the body situation was very, very, was getting even worse. So there are no forensics. By the way, even if we had forensics from bodies of women, for example, it's very possible that we wouldn't find the attacker because many of the terrorists themselves were also killed during this attack. So what we believe will happen, it's the prosecution's, Israeli prosecution's decision, but what we believe will happen is that all of the evidence that are collected and that are put into like a puzzle, into a big picture, will add up to a general indictment against all those people who took place, who took action during this attack as a whole, because it's impossible to refer exactly which one did what. But our law, and we're a democratic country, we have a very, very clear law system, have the possibility to indict the group as a group for planning and for doing these atrocities together. I hope this answers your question.
תודה, מירית. I have one quick question. If you can, from your knowledge internationally, maybe you can ask, besides doing הסברה, okay? How else can we help from here? It's also regarding what you said before. Do you think that there is certain actions that are recommended, or you think that will be helpful, that the community will push doing them?
First of all, doing hasbara. Second, going to the press to press, and if your local press is willing to hear, even bringing people to your country, either survivors or people who were kidnapped and who were freed, to tell your government and to tell the people who are who have an impact in your country, to tell them exactly what happened. Because if it will not come from all over, it will not be over, because Hamas is doing all that they can in order to bring to the world, even now, a different picture, a different story. You saw it in Hague. We see it in the different countries in the press. And the ones who were attacked in our home and through Holocaust in our home are now referred to as the attackers. So this is something that we cannot bear with. And just like after the Holocaust, the original Holocaust, people had to go on and tell over and over and over, it will never happen again. Now we have to continue doing this.
תודה רבה. Thank you very much, מירית. תודה רבה. תודה. Es un honor para mí invitar a nuestro próximo orador, Simcha Greiniman. Simcha es voluntario en ZAKA ya 32 años. Es el responsable de la recopilación de datos en la organización y proyectos de ZAKA en el ambiente internacional. Es padre de 5 hijos y abuelo de 3 nietos. En tiempos de paz, Simcha se desempeña como subcomandante de ZAKA en מודיעין עילית. שמחה, תודה שהצטרפת אלינו, אנחנו איתך.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Simcha Greiniman. I'm 47 years old, father of 5, grandfather of 3, a volunteer in ZAKA International for over 32 years. On October 7, I was called into the scenes to collect bodies and parts. And for 2.5 weeks, I dealt with all the situations, the hard situations, seeing on the scenes, working daily, collecting bodies and parts of bodies after these atrocities, coming through the houses, seeing different things, that you cannot imagine. You heard what Mirit said. These are the things that we collected, ZAKA members, going through the houses, seeing women in hard situations. I came to speak in the UN about women's rights, and I told some of the stories that I dealt personally with my own hands and my own eyes. A woman laying naked her whole body was abused. She had nails in her personal women parts, things that you cannot imagine, things that you can't even think in your worst dreams about the situation. And there were bodies that were cut to pieces that we couldn't identify to see if it's a man or a woman because the situation was so horrific. There were children, there were older people, Holocaust survivors connected to machines that were butchered, killed, cut to pieces by these terrorists. Going through these houses and going through all these kibbutzim are things that you can't believe. Going again and again, seeing the scenes is unbelievable. Around the rave party, there were cars that were burned. There was nothing left. When we tried picking up the bones, whatever was left from the remains, they became into ashes. We couldn't collect anything by hand. We had to bring vacuum cleaners to collect whatever remains and put them in bags and marking which corner it came out from each car to be able to try to identify maybe later if we'll be able to understand. As a ZAKA member, we are international. We go around the world and we help anywhere around the world, not only in Israel. We go to Muslim countries, we go to Christian countries, and for sure in Israel. We come as a rescue team. We help after earthquakes. We help after terror attacks. A year ago, we were in Turkey collecting 18 bodies. We were in Surfside in New York, in Miami. We were in different places around the world, Haiti, Bombay, as understanding what humanity is, helping, collecting, doing the right thing, the last moments of these people on the earth, collecting and doing them the best as possible in a way that we respect the bodies and for sure respecting the families. And as Mirit said, we, as in ZAKA, we never take pictures on scenes to make sure that nothing goes out to people to see different situations of families or children of families. But the most important thing is to bring as fast as we could the bodies to be able to identify them and to bring them to the families to know that for sure if they're alive and they're not, if they're alive or not, and if they were captured or not captured. All these things that we did was as fast as we could, according to whatever has to be done according to halakha. But as Mirit said, everything was under fire attack. We had days that we had hundreds of missiles flying over, and every few minutes we had to take shelter. There were times that we got shot at, and we had to hide in houses or in different safe places. During those attacks, we were still collecting the bodies, all these bodies and parts, and trying to bring those people as fast as we could to be buried, according to halakha. And the most important thing is to bring every drop of blood and every part of bones and whatever is left around. So it took us close to 16 weeks going house by house, cleaning them, collecting every drop of blood to make sure that goes to burial. By doing that, we were respecting the dead, and by doing that, the families can come back to the houses, and that's a respect for them also, to be able to continue their lives, to take whatever they need from the house without seeing all the scenes, these sad situations that we had to deal with. As I said before, I'm standing here in front of you, telling you all these stories about these women and children and older people and men that went through all these situations. I am the eyes and the hands that dealt with hundreds of bodies, collecting them. All these people that are not alive anymore. I'm here to stand, to shout, to scream, to say the last words for them, saying, we cannot forget what happened over here. It took 50 years to say that the Holocaust didn't happen, but it took 50 seconds to denial what happened in October 7th. So we have to make sure that the whole world hears what happened and knowing what they went through and knowing that we still have 134 people that are still captured in Gaza and who knows what they're going through any second. We have to pray to God that they should come back as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and we hope that everyone will be strong and could be able to continue their life, living a normal life after doing what we dealt with. I appreciate everything and thank you very much for having me.
Toda Simcha, thank you very much. I have a question for you. We know that you're traveling around the world, also sharing your stories in different communities. So can you tell us if there is any international institution that is helping us in this matter, or is standing with us that to deal with the contention for the attacks, especially for the rapes and the abuse that occurred that day, from what you're hearing and and from your knowledge, because you're very involved?
Well, me and Mirit, we met together. We went around the world. We went to England and Germany. Mirit was also in France with us. And we spoke in front of Parliament. We spoke in front of different people around the world. I just came back last Friday from the United States, and I spoke in the White House and Washington, D.C., in the Congress. We get good feedbacks having and knowing that the world is really giving us some places a hug, but some places we still getting pushed away by attacking us and continuing to denial whatever happened. But as I say, whoever denies whatever happened is part of the Hamas. We're not complaining against the Palestinians. We're not coming against anyone around the world, but we are explaining what happened to Israel, what happened to our communities, the attacks. That's what we're dealing with, and we're explaining the situation. But it's still not easy at all. I am going back Motzei Shabbat Sunday to different countries. I'm supposed to be in Panama. I'm supposed to be in different countries around the world still. I'm still going. And we're trying to be able to get the voices around the world and continue doing whatever we're doing, because we can't stop. As I said, I'm a volunteer, and we are all together in this. Whoever is supporting Israel and understand what Israel is for the united of the Jews, and not only the Jews, because we know these attacks are happening today here, but they can happen any second anywhere around the world. When Hamas is still against Israel, and it's not only Hamas, it's Iran, it's Lebanon. There's different countries around the world that all the time are supporting Hamas, and we see it up north all the time. It's getting warmer and warmer over there, and we as ZAKA members, we have to be ready to make sure that if something happens, we're there and we're strong to be able to help the communities, the people around the country.
Thank you very much, Simcha. And I want to take the opportunity to say, because we know that you're traveling, all around the world, that we are working close with ZAKA and the communities that want to invite Simcha to speak. It's one of the things that, as you heard before, Mirit, to invite speaker to speak and hear it from first hand. It's something that we can assist, and we're working already those days with some communities to see how we can schedule Simcha's visit in those communities. So if it's something that you want to bring to your community, please contact us after the Zoom. Simcha, toda rabba. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that you are, it's not your first Zoom with us, and באמת תודה רבה, לא מובן מאליו. תודה רבה.
תודה רבה לכם, and again, thank you very much for having us, and please keep on spreading whatever happened to Israel, because you're our ambassadors now, all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. And now es un honor para mí invitar a nuestro próximo orador, Ron Segev. Ron tiene 38 años, vive en Tel Aviv y el 7 de octubre estaba festejando en la fiesta de Nova. רון, אנחנו איתך, תודה שאתה איתנו.
Hi everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to share my story. Before I start, I just want to say that I appreciate, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone in Israel, we appreciate your support. It's very important to us. Let's dive in. I want to start before the story. I just want to tell you a little bit about the trans community in general and the Nova community specifically. I don't know if you ever seen, heard, or been in such parties, but the idea in those parties, especially those in, or actually it's not a party, it's a festival, is that you can come as you are. Just a second, something pop up. You can be whoever you want to be. No one is judging you. Everyone is welcoming you, hugging you, dancing together with you. I like to call us modern hippies. We spread love, we spread the light, we want to do good in this world. And just so you understand, at this specific festival, we didn't even use any kind of plastic, any kind of one-time use materials. Everything was planned to not only be good to each other, but also to nature. So on Friday night, the night between the 6th and the 7th of October, me and my brother Dan were going to a party together with Adir and Sarah. They're a married couple. We decided to take one car this time. Normally we split because everyone wants to have his own convenience to live when he wants. But this time we decided to go all together. We arrived to the parking lot around 2:30 a.m. and we get into the entrance because there are always very tight security checks. It takes time to get in. And we were at the entrance about 20 minutes and, surrounded by a big crowd. Normally for me, this is the first moments of the party. We meet new people. And the people are in a good mood, so everything is very nice and very, it's fun. We get in around 2:45 and we start building our camp. We were supposed to be 33 friends at the same place, so we have camp with tents and everything, a place to relax. And around 3 a.m. we are already finished everything and we get into the party area, to the festival area. And We had 2 dance floors, we had plenty of shops, we had bars, you can do a massage, you can eat. It's really like a small town. And slowly more and more friends are coming, we start to drink, everything is fun. It was supposed to be one of the best festivals that ever happened here in Israel. And as I said, slowly more and more friends are coming. Around 5 a.m., we are already approximately 25 people. Slowly the sun starts to shine and we dancing in the dance floor. And just so you know, in this kind of events, the moment when the night turns into a day, when the dark turns into a light, those are the best moments. And we were having a good time. At 6:20, it became a little bit warm, and my brother asked me to go back to the camp so we can change clothes. And he wanted to put some short pants and change to a short t-shirt. And we are there with our friends, we are making fun, drinking another drink, and we have no clue what is about to come, of course. And suddenly at 6:30, the music stops, and we don't hear any sirens, but they announce that there are rockets and that there is a red alarm. And as soon as that happened, my dad called me and he told me that there are rockets all over Israel right now. I mean, south, even in Tel Aviv and all the big cities. So he wanted to warn me. I told him, don't worry, we are getting the hell out of here. I hang up the phone. I immediately say to my brother and Nadir and Sarah, grab everything. We are going. We are not staying. Leave everything behind. Just take your backpack and let's go. We are running towards the emergency exit and we try to find some cover between the trees because at this point of time, we see hundreds of rockets, but we don't have any clue about the terrorists. When I looked at the sky, I saw, it's very hard to explain, but I saw black sky. Hundreds of rockets from Gaza flying towards Israel, but also hundreds of rockets of the Iron Dome trying to hit those missiles. And everything looked black. All the trails that they leave, you can barely see the light. So we are hiding behind very thin trees and we are arguing, maybe we should go to take the car, maybe we should. Sorry, it's a bit difficult every time. Maybe we should stay here, maybe we should bring the car and run. And for 10, 15 minutes, we can't get into a decision. And suddenly we hear shots in the background. It was very, very low. We could barely hear it, but we heard it. And we were not sure if it's the army, if it's coming from Gaza. We have no idea what's going on. But after a minute, we noticed that the sound of the gunshots, it's in automatic. It's not single fire. Now we know that the IDF never use automatic. So we already suspected that there is a chance right now that a few terrorists already infiltrate Israel. But we still have no idea what's going on. And at this point of time, I think no one in Israel knew. So I tell my brother, give me the keys to the car. I'm going to bring the car. And that's what I did. I felt after like 30-second drive that I cannot drive. I was too drunk. So I asked my friend Adir to drive. And we are trying to get out of the parking lots. Now, there was no road. I'm talking about pure nature. So it takes some time. You cannot drive fast. And we get to the road. Once we got to the road, we had two options. One, to the left towards Be'eri and the other one to the right. We look to the left, we see a huge traffic jam, so we decide to take to the right. Right, it's towards Reim. As soon as we turn to the right, we see a group of cars driving fast towards us. We ask them, we open the window, we ask them, what's going on? Why you are coming back from there? And they told us that there are terrorists shooting at them. So immediately we made a U-turn and we got stuck in the traffic jam. And slowly more and more cars piling up behind us. And we can't move anywhere. We cannot turn right, we cannot turn left. We're just stuck. Slowly, we hear the gunshots getting closer and closer to us, and at some point, we heard them hitting the first cars behind us. And at this point of time, hundreds, maybe thousands of people were just leaving their cars and try to escape from the shots between the cars. At this point, we decided to do it as well. Me and my brother were sitting on the right side of the car, so we ran to the right side, and Adir and Sarah, they went to the left side. And at this point of time, we separated. We are hiding in a small tunnel next to the road, trying not to get shot, and we are trying to forward to get away from the terrorists. And we get very close to the police car and the ambulance that blocked the road. We find cover there, and I call Adir and Sarah from my brother's phone. I forgot mine on the car. I asked them, where are you? What happened? Where are you? Where are you hiding? And they told us that they are already in the open fields on the other side of the road, and that they saw a police officer got shot in his leg, and he was bleeding from his mouth. So and he told them to run toward the open fields, towards the sun, because the sun rising on the east side, and Gaza was on the west side. So I was talking on speaker, and people around me heard the conversation, and suddenly around 50 people standing up and ready to run after me. I told them, listen, I cannot take responsibility. I don't know what's going on in the field, so everyone need to decide for himself. I look toward the open fields, and I see that we are going to have a very, very, very long walk. And I see that the sun is rising. The time is around 7 a.m., maybe 10 minutes past 7 a.m. So I decide to go back to the car and try to take my backpack with the bottles of water. I run between the cars. I try to stay safe because there are still gunshots everywhere. And I managed to get to the car. I took my backpack. I put in 2 bottles of water, and I ran the hell out of there like crazy. I get back to my brother, and we go to the open fields. We actually run, we are not going. And for the first 15 minutes, we felt that we are getting safer and safer because we heard the gunshots getting far, and we also didn't hear anything in the open field. We felt that we are safe, and we are moving forward with big groups of people, thousands of people. And after 15 minutes, suddenly we hear gunshots at the open field. And if you saw the movie of hundreds, maybe even thousands of people running in the open fields, that was the moment that I was running as well. I was part of these thousands of people. I remember that I heard the gunshots from everywhere, from right, from left, from behind me, and even in front of me. So we didn't really know where to go, where to run. We were just running, and we felt like we were, like ducks, and we are trying to find cover. So we are running on the road, and it was left to the road. There was a small, there was a 10 meters drop to a valley, and we decided to go down to the valley, and we start to slide down. And as soon as we go maybe 3-4 meters down, I suddenly remembered that when you're in a fight, when you're in a combat, you should try to stay high and not low, because you have no cover when you're low. And I stop my brother, I catch him with my hand, and I tell him, Dan, let's not get there, let's try to stay high. So we climb back, we wait for the shots to over, and then we climb back. And as soon as we reach to the top, we hear gunshots, and gunshots at the bottom of the valley, and we see hundreds of people running, and we had nothing that we could do, so we ran from there as well. For a very long time, we were under heavy fire. Around 7:30, it's all started in the open fields, the heavy shots, and it was like that for very long time, for hours. At some point, while we are running from cover to cover and try to stay to separate ourselves from the big groups, because we thought that if there are terrorists, they will go to the big groups. They will try to pick an easy target. It's very difficult to say that, but that's the truth. And slowly we separate ourselves. We stay in small groups. We try to help people. There were plenty of people that just found cover and stayed there, didn't move. We told them that the terrorists are coming. They are right behind us. Some of them were froze over there, and some of them could barely speak, and definitely not run. And around 8 a.m., the shots were directly at us, at me and my brother. So again, we tried to find cover, going down a little bit to the valley. And we know that we are not supposed to go all the way down, but we cannot also stay on the road, so we have to find cover, and that was the only cover. Slide down 3 meters, we stop. I turn my head up, and I see 2 terrorists on motorcycles. I remember that I saw the rifle of one of them. And at this point of time, I thought, that's it, it's over. We are not going to survive it. I closed my eyes. I saw my life goes by. This is real. It really happened. And I start to separate in my mind, in my heart, from everyone. And after 10 seconds, maybe less, I open my eyes, and they are still over there. Another 10 seconds goes by, and they just move on. They disappear. They didn't even look at us. My brother always tell me, I don't remember it, but my brother always tell me, when you saw them, one moment. My brother always tell me that when I saw them, I immediately pushed his head to the ground and told him to be quiet. Right after they go, we climb back and we keep running. At some point, I see that my brother is behind me. He's not running next to me, he's running behind me. And at this point of time, he had the bag on his back, so I took the bag from him and I told him, from this point on, you are always first. I'm running behind you. I'm the older brother, so I felt the responsibility. So we keep running, and we are both asthmatic, so it was very difficult for both of us to run for so long time, for such a long time. And we find cover behind a huge tree. We try to fix our breath, and again, we hear the shots getting closer. So after 30 seconds, I tell my brother, listen, we have no time to relax here. We need to go on. We need to move forward. And around 8:30, 8:45, it's very hard to tell the times there. We were totally alone in the field, and suddenly we hear the shots, and directly at us. I remember I saw the bullets going. They missed me in few centimeters, and they hit the trees, just flying next to us. My brother thought he got shot, and I grabbed his hand to check if everything is okay. I touch his body to see that he is not bleeding. So we ran toward the car, and we find the cover behind the car. We are on one side of the car hiding. On the other side, I can hear the shots hitting the car. And at this point of time, like many times during this 2 hours escape until now, I thought that we are about to die. We have nothing that we can do. And I look to the left, I look to the right, and suddenly I see, suddenly it was there, but I saw a big group of cars, maybe 6 cars, 5 cars next to each other. They are all abandoned. And I tell my brother, let's try to crawl all the way there. It was 30 meters away from us. And the terrorists keep shooting at the car. So we thought if we stay here, they would just get closer to us and they would kill us. So we have only one chance. We start to crawl, and after, I think, 10 meters, I saw a set of bullets hitting the ground right next to my hand, maybe 10 or 15 centimeters. All the sand from the ground fly directly to my face, to my eyes, my mouth, my nose. And I immediately told my brother, run, run, run. And we find cover behind those group of cars. Again, they are shooting toward those cars. And at this point of time, I felt that God joined the survival story, because we didn't know what to do. And suddenly I hear that one of the cars is on and we can try to get in and maybe go out of there. We run toward the car, we jump in, and I just hit the gas pedal to the bottom and we fly the hell out of there. At this point of time, we are getting far from the terrorists and closing in on the big groups. And slowly more and more people running toward the car, and they ask us to save them. They actually beg for their life to jump in. Obviously, we immediately pick up whoever we could. And in a matter of maybe 5-10 minutes, we were already 10 people in the car. The car was a Hyundai Tucson, so it's an SUV. We managed to squeeze in. But I still couldn't find my friends, Adir and Sarah. We were always in touch. We were always calling each other, but we didn't manage to find each other. Everything looked the same, so it's nearly impossible to locate someone without any navigation. After maybe 40 minutes, I thought that if we are 40 minutes in the car, maybe we already passed them. And I told the people in the car that I'm going to make a U-turn to find them, that I'm going to drive back toward the shootings. And one of the lady from behind, she tried to convince me not to. She said, "This is our life and this is your life. Let's get the hell out of here." But we were at a safe spot, so I told her, "Listen, those two are my friends. They came with me and they have no other way to go back home. If I'm not taking them back home, they will just stay here." Now, I just want you to understand that at this point of time, we still don't know how big it is. And maybe that's why everyone in the car supported my decision and they agreed to come back with me. So I made a U-turn and I'm driving towards the shots, and I don't know how long it's been because everything was crazy, but it was between 1 to 5 minutes. It wasn't very long time, but I remember getting closer to the gunshots, and at some point, we finally managed to share location with our friends Adir and Sarah, and we realized that we are going the wrong way, and they are still far ahead. So I made another U-turn, and we are driving towards them. At some point, we were 10 meters from each other, and for 10, maybe 15 minutes, we couldn't find each other. And then suddenly, just like in a Hollywood movie, they jump behind a tree, and I remember that at this point of time, I felt like time stopped by, and we are screaming towards them, "Run, run!" And they run like crazy towards us. They jump in, and we drive the hell out of there. This point of time, we didn't know again what happened around us, so we decided to go to Be'eri. That was the closest kibbutz, and we thought that maybe we can find cover there. So we drive towards Be'eri from the open fields, not on the road, and we get stuck in the mud. Luckily, there was another Jeep right in front of us, and they saw that we got stuck. They stopped. I asked everyone to get out of the vehicle, and one guy from the other Jeep, he just jumped from the trunk. He ran toward the car, and just with his two hands, he managed to push us away. That shows you how much adrenaline we had in our body. So we get ourselves out of the mud, and everyone jump in, and we are driving towards Be'eri from the open fields. It's not from the road, so the entrance is a bit different. And before the entrance, I actually saw the Thai walkers. I saw their faces, and they looked terrified. And I said very quietly, but I said, "Something feels wrong here." And a few seconds later, Sarah screamed from behind, "Ron, don't go in, don't go in." And that's all I needed. And I made a U-turn, and we just got the hell out of there, a few meters from the gate. I don't know how much you know. I assume that you already know, everyone around the world already know, but at this point of time, Be'eri was already taken by Hamas, and they had a huge massacre in Be'eri, and we were lucky not to get in because we would probably find ourselves dead. So we keep moving forward in the open fields, and we are driving next to a road, but we have no way to get to this road. And just before we found the right turn to get to the road, we saw another person in the open field just walking all by himself. So we told him, "Jump in." His name is Ben, and later on you will understand how important it was that he joined us. And So we get on the road, and as soon as we get on the road, my brother tells me, Ron, I don't feel good. I think I'm about to have a heart attack. And at this point of time, I felt like it's not enough that we finally get out of the field. Now I need to save my brother. Now I need to find a way to save him. Just so you understand, we are 10 or 12 or 11 people in the car. I don't even remember everyone. I was driving on my right side, my brother sits, and on his leg, a lady sits, and two people in the trunk, and another 5 or 6 people at the back seat. And as soon as we get to the road, then my brother told me that he think he is about to have a heart attack. I again push the gas pedal to the bottom. I drive like crazy, maybe 180, maybe 160 kilometers per hour. That's very fast, and I pass cars from left and right, and we get to the entrance of Ofakim, and I saw a police car blocking the entrance to Ofakim. I go out, I ask the police officer to get us an ambulance, and then he told me, there are no ambulance right now all over the south. They are all occupied. I didn't even had much time to think. I just ran back toward the car, and as soon as I about to move forward and drive, we hear the sirens. So if you know when you hear a siren while you are in the car, there is a safety law. You need to turn off the car, get as far away as possible, lay down on the ground, and put your hands on your head. So that's what I did. And as soon as I get out of the car, start running to find cover. Ben, the last guy that we pick up, he asked me, Ron, do you have the code to the car? And then I realized it's not my car. So I ran back toward the car and I turned it on again, and luckily it didn't get locked. Normally you have between 10 to 20 seconds and then it gets locked, and if you don't have the code, you cannot drive. So luckily he told me on time, go back to the car. So we find cover for 5 minutes, and then we all climb back to the car. I drive towards Soroka Hospital. My brother still feel really bad, and at some point we got to the block roads that the police made, and as closer we get to them, we see more and more guns are aiming towards us, and I opened the windows and I told everyone, just put your hands outside and scream, we are Jewish, we are Jewish. We had to go same drill 3 times until we managed to get to Soraka Hospital in Be'er Sheva. And they take my brother out of the car with the bed. This point of time, I went to the toilet and I almost collapsed. I thought I'm about to lose my brother. I thought that I will have to give the bad news to my parents. And thank God, 20, 30 minutes later, they came with the good news that it's not a heart attack, that he's okay. We decided not to stay at the hospital because we saw all the injured people coming in, and I saw a friend of mine coming in, one of the normal producers, with shots in his body. And I saw police officers with plenty of bullets in their body. The whole hospital was full of blood. At some point, they couldn't clean the floor. They had too much blood. It was very, very busy over there.
רון, תודה רבה רבה רבה. שומע אותי?
כן.
תודה
כן.
רבה, באמת תודה רבה, thank you very much.
חיבוק אמיץ מאיתנו, רון.
רצינו לאורך כל השיחה שלך רק לחבק אותך, to hug you.
חזרה, תודה רבה.
It's not obvious to have you with us, and we really appreciate it. We saw how much is hard for you to tell the story and go over the horrible experience that you had that night. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
תודה.
Thank you for having me.
תודה רבה.
Bye.
תודה, רון. It's very difficult to speak after Ron's story.
Quiero decir así, antes que vamos a terminar el Zoom, que es importante decir que para nosotros el Zoom es solo un primer paso y nos encantaría que más haya de utilizar la web, que vamos a mostrar el web. Les voy a presentar la plataforma de información que hemos creado para apoyar las acciones que pueden tomar en sus comunidades. ¿Okay? Lo que hicimos es recompilamos para ustedes una variedad de fuentes y ejemplos de acciones que se pueden tomar. Y por supuesto ustedes saben mejor que nosotros cómo es correcto y apropiado continuar en las comunidades de ustedes.
הוא רוצה רגע להגיד משהו, רון, אני לא רגע שהוא רוצה
רון quiere decir algo, entonces, רון, אנחנו שומעים אותך. רון?
כן, I'm still here.
Yeah.
There are two things that I just want to share with you. First of all, I'm going to a public awareness campaign right now in New York, but also all around the world to tell my story. And if there is any of you that can help me somehow, it doesn't have to be financial. You can also help me arrange groups or accommodation. Then that would be great. I don't need in New York, but later on I will probably go all over America, from South America to Canada. And if there is any way that you can somehow support, please talk to me. I will maybe write down my number on the chat so you can contact me or follow me on Instagram. I will put the link in. And I just want to say one more thing. I'm sorry for taking your time. It's very important for you to know that what happened on the 7th of October, that's only the beginning of the story right now. For 5, almost 6 months, that's the real struggle for survivors, for soldiers. And that's something that I want you to know, that the struggle is going to be a very long one. For example, I suffered depression and other syndromes of trauma. Now I'm much better. Depression is already behind me, and I find my my energy and power from helping other people, and that's why I'm coming to New York to raise donation to the Nova survivors and help them get back on their feet and go back to work and hopefully dance again. So if there is any way, I would love you to contact me, and thank you again.
רון, אחד הדברים שאנחנו אמרנו להם שאנחנו נוכל לעשות זה באמת את החיבורים האלה, אז מאחר ויש לך חיבור גם אלינו, אז באמת נדבר בעקבות הזום הזה ונראה, כי כבר יש פה כל מיני קהילות שמוכנות לעשות חיבורים. בסדר?
הטלפון שלך לנו?
יש לנו
אוקיי, תודה רבה. I will write down in the chat my number, so just feel free to contact.
אנחנו נעשה את זה מסודר. בסדר?
אוקיי, thank you.
אנחנו בקשר איתם, אז אנחנו נהיה בקשר איתך ונהיה בקשר איתם.
אוקיי, thank you very much. ביי.
Ok. Entonces, quiero mostrarles la plataforma de información que hicimos y vamos a mandarles también el link. Es un web que tiene mucha información sobre las cosas que hablamos hoy acá, de la media y... Okay. Les vamos a mandar en el email. Había una pregunta sobre el Zoom. También el Zoom, este Zoom y también los anteriores están en el website. Entonces pueden usar la, ¿cómo se dice? El video del Zoom. Es importante decir que para nosotros, como dije antes, para nosotros el Zoom es, y como escucharon antes, es solo un primer paso y nos encantaría que más haya de utilizar la web, que por supuesto pueden decidir si lo usan o no, y qué es bueno por ustedes, por las comunidades. Nosotros estamos acá para ayudar y pensar qué pueden hacer en la comunidad, como hablaron antes de que preguntaron si es asbara o otras cosas. Quiero decir que de los anteriores Zoom meeting empezaron comunidades pedir que pensamos juntas qué pueden hacer. Hoy teníamos una reunión con Miami y en Baltimore en Estados Unidos y también en Europa. Empezaron trabajar de acciones que las manejan mujeres de diferentes lugares en Europa. Entonces, nosotros estamos acá para ayudar, no sé cómo se dice en español, entonces te lo voy a decir en inglés. We are here to help you to echo this important issue, as you heard it before from all the speakers, and we hope that you also understand and feel better how much is important to echo it until the world will recognize that we had here a war crime and a war not only a war crime, also crimes against the humanity. Entonces, les vamos a mandar la dirección del sitio web en el correo, también el Zoom, y oramos al final. Okay. Y thank you for Valeria for the translation. It helped us a lot. We heard that it worked good. So we're happy that we managed to do it, although at the beginning we had some technical issues, but we're here, so it's okay. Oramos por días mejores, que todos nuestros reheneses y soldados regresen a casa sanos de cuerpo y mente, como lo escuchamos a Ron. Gracias por estar con nosotras. Am Israel Chai. Gracias a todas. Thank you very much.
תודה. תודה.
Muchas gracias por el espacio.
Thank you.
Gracias.